after a awesome interview with T-Dub3, now we're here again with another Mayhem and May special, guys, here on the Elite Ringside Network. I am Nate the Effing Great, joined here by the man who is, I guess I could say, genetically jacked, athletically stacked, but also dubbed the future and one of the best in Wisconsin today. This is indeed the man known as Logan Lynch. How are you?
I'm doing good. You forgot weapon next. But, I'll let that slide.
Oh, boy. Man. We've already had the conversation where I basically said, yeah, I know you can kick my ass no matter what, especially after the ACW show where you just came up to me and you just told me to shut up, basically. Yeah, pretty much. This is just one of those guys who I honestly could look at and he could take 2 steps toward me. I'll be like, I'm going to sit down now. I'm good. I'm just not going to say anything anymore. I'm just going to keep quiet. But no, so always the first question I ask is, when it comes to professional wrestling, what got you interested as a fan and what got you interested in actually participating as a professional wrestler?
Both very good questions. The first one, what got me interested as a fan, kind of the same answer that a lot of people give, something that I watched when I was a kid. Especially my older brother actually was pretty into wrestling. He's 11 years older than me, so, he was able to watch it when he was off in college. It was during the whole Monday Night Wars thing. So I kind of got into it at that point. And I remember going, it must have been early 90s sometime, with my dad and my brother. We went to one of the WWE, I don't know if it was a house show or a Raw or what it was, at the Brown County Arena. And was, kind of hooked as a kid, and I didn't have cable, so I couldn't watch Raw, but I was a SmackDown kid once that started on UPN, and we actually had a trampoline in our backyard, and I used to take those kind of larger stuffed animals out there and practice the finishers on the trampoline, so kind of dates back to being a kid for when my interest as a fan started.
All right, well, when it came to, what got you interested, and was it still like, watching the product that made you think that you wanted to, be a part of that, or was this just one of those things that kind of was like on the fly, I want to do this?
It was a little more on the fly. I had kind of not watched it as much, I guess, once I got out of middle school. Into high school, I was busy with sports and academics and things like that, and kind of didn't watch the product as much, and went off to college. And actually what got me back into watching WWE again and just wrestling in general were the Chris Jericho books. Again, kind of stemming from my older brother. He had read the first 2, and he's like, you got to check these out. You're really going to like them. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much time. But once I started reading that first one, it just completely hooked me. And I think I finished it in like 2 days. And then read the second one and got interested in more the business aspect, I guess, of wrestling. And kind of the backstage kind of stuff, and started watching the product again, and then got completely hooked all over again. And it was something where I was at a point in my life where I thought, if I don't give it a shot now, I'm always going to regret it. So that was just about 2 years ago.
Wow.
The first time when first set foot in the ring. So that'll be a 2-year anniversary coming up next month, actually.
Wow, jeez. Well, happy 2 months to you. 2 years to you. Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
But I actually did not listen. Jeez Louise. I'm kind of spitballing here. I basically did read one of Chris Jericho's books, and it's just amazing how so in depth and how well he just writes these books. And obviously, a lot of people know that he has a degree as a journalist, and he's done so much of that. It's just amazing, what he's able to do as a writer, as a wrestler, as a songwriter. It's just undescribable, some of the things that he's able to do. So, for you to say that it was one of those books that kind of really got you into that again shows that, Chris Jericho, he's the man. Drink it in, dude. Just really...
Drink it in, man. I actually saw him Friday night, too. He performed in Green Bay. Fozzy played in Green Bay, so I actually went to watch them on Friday night. So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it seemed like it was pretty awesome. And I think Jericho did like a Facebook Live deal when he was in Madison or something like that. But unfortunately, I did miss out on that. So I'm kind of bummed about that. But, Fozzy has always been one of those bands I've kind of really enjoyed listening to. Some people are just like, they're okay. I mean, will they go down as one of the greatest? Probably not. But, I mean, they're definitely, more bearable to listen to than some of the certain boy bands around here. One Direction.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
So let's talk about your training days. Obviously, when it comes to like the ring, it's definitely one of those things that is very hard to get into unless you have your heart into it. Talk about like basically your first few weeks of training. How did that go for you?
So when I had this idea that I wanted to get into wrestling, I actually started doing a little bit of research and happened to come across the Dojo of Pain run by Shane Hills. Kind of got redirected there from, I think it was the old WPW website, and called up Shane and talked to him, and he invited me out to do what they do there is you have kind of a tryout day, and then if you make it through the tryout day, and everyone decides, they think you have what it takes to be a wrestler, then you go back and work through your training depending on, if you catch on quickly, you might progress faster. It's really tailored to who you are. So the training happens in Maribel in a shed, basically. That's just big enough to hold the ring and some weights and other equipment that he likes to torture us with, like with big tractor tires and flipping those.
Jeez.
But he's where I train, so I would definitely recommend the Dojo of Pain to anybody. And it's not just Shane who helps out. There's also Stacey Shadows helps out there, and Brock Hall helps out there too. But if you look at the rosters for WPW and ACW, the vast majority of those guys are made up from people who came from Shane's school.
Wow.
So there are other ones in the area, and people can do their research and find whether or not those work. ACW is running a school now too, I know. But obviously I didn't train with them, so I can't really speak to that, but I'm sure they do a great job as well.
Well, as the name probably suggests, I'm guessing this was one of those dojos where you felt nothing but, pun intended, pain. Was there any kind of, training that he put you through that really was just like excruciating or just really hard to do, for the first time, and then after a while it kind of got easier?
Well, I shouldn't say we like to do, but just about every camp that we have, we end with some sort of blow-up drill, whether it's running ropes and doing drop downs and leapfrogs, just sets of 10, 15 of them, crisscrossing in the ring, flipping tires, doing sprints outside while you're holding like a big heavy bag.
Okay.
So things like that, doing rope climbs, which is basically you get down in the push-up position, facing one of the turnbuckles, and then you climb up each rope with each arm, and then climb back down, and that's one set or one rep, and you do a push-up at the bottom, and we have to do like a set of 25 of those or something. So Shane puts us through a lot of physical things like that, but honestly, when it comes to the conditioning in the ring, I think it really shows those of us who can go out there and go for 15, 20 minutes if we have to, and not get blown up.
Wow. I mean, honestly, it just sounds like one of those things where it does kind of sound a bit like a, what do they call them? I have them at Planet Fitness, like those circuit workouts where, they have, you do like one workout and then you do like the cool off and then another workout and then cool off, like kind of one of those back and forth deals. That sounds a little bit more intense than what they have at Planet Fitness. So Planet Fitness, you need to step up your game, I guess.
Yeah, they do. But no, it's basically what it is it's like circuit workouts, and it's a really cool atmosphere, kind of like just being basically Shane has a hobby farm. It's a shed on his farm. So it's like, you read these wrestling books like Jericho trained in the back of a bowling alley or something, and all these guys that trained in these weird places, and it's like, we who came to the school, we all have our own kind of little story. So when we write our own book someday, that'll be in it.
Very nice, very nice. So obviously, from the training, you go on to having your first matchup. Walk us through, kind of what it was like to perform in your, I guess it shouldn't be, to wrestle in your first matchup. Was it nerve-wracking? Was it a bit more exciting? Because obviously a lot of people have different, aspects of, what they think about their first matchup. But what was it like for you to have your first match?
It was both nerve-wracking butterflies, and it's that whole day getting nervous all the way up to it, and then once it finally happens, it's more kind of that nervous excitement. And then as soon as you finish with the match, it's like you want to get back out there and do another one as soon as you can. I remember my first match was actually against Brock Hall, and I had that reaction once I came in the back. I was so still jacked up on adrenaline and everything. I was so excited I wanted to go back out there again, and Sadis happened to be back there, and he's just like, calm down, man. Like, it's okay, you're going to have more of them. Just calm down, go sit down for a little while. So, you get nervous that whole day kind of leading up to it, but when you walk through that curtain for the first time, there really is no feeling like it. It's just this pure adrenaline rush. It's really awesome.
And it's funny you mentioned Sadis. I want to actually talk about that in just a little bit. But throughout your 2-year venture of being a wrestler, obviously you've had a lot of matches and you've wrestled a lot of people. Can you tell us just a few people that you would probably put, or some matches that you remember that you probably put on your either like your top 5 list or your favorite match of all time? Just some matches that you remember that were just really awesome and that you would definitely recommend if you were putting together like a best of Logan Lynch DVD or something like that?
Sure. I would say just for being the first match I ever had, that first match with Brock Hall has a kind of a special place in my heart, even though it was only, I don't know if we went maybe 5 minutes or so, but it felt like 10 or 15 being out there that first time. But that was pretty special. I had that match with TW3 last September in Point that went over really well, and a lot of people came up to me after and said that they thought it was a really great match, and I always enjoy working with TW3, and we had another good one a couple weeks ago at WrestleCon for ACW. Then I would have to say one of the ACW shows we did at Oshkosh West High School. It was myself, Brock Hall, and Nathan Gust against Swoggle, Nick Colucci, and Seth Gambino. And that was really special to have. That was where Swoggle went to high school, so there were, 500, maybe 600 people there that were all just really, really intense, and it was kind of an electric atmosphere, and it was really kind of cool to be in the ring with Swoggle especially, and just to be in the ring with all those guys that all went through Oshkosh West. But that was another kind of special match that they had that sticks out.
Well, it was funny when you were talking about that matchup. I honestly thought that there was like a long enough pause where you just said Swoggle, and I'm thinking, so it was like the 3 of you against Swoggle in a handicap match. Oh, that seems totally fair.
It would have been fair, I think.
But you also mentioned last year's match between you and TW3, and I actually just talked to him about that matchup. He definitely says that would definitely be on the top of his list. Because, you guys had really good chemistry during that matchup now I got to remember the name of it was like Returning Point or something like that. I just remember having...
I think it was Returning Point, yeah.
Yeah, thanks again, Nathan Gust, for all the names of these events, and they all end with points, so thank you, haha. That was one of those matches where I just remember watching it, and I thought, wow, this is just what independent wrestling really is. It's all about, showing the passion, showing the heart, showing just great, intensity. You guys really tore the house down. And what was actually funny was that during your matchup at a WrestleCon, I actually went up to TW3, and I remember saying to him, "Oh, you'll get him next time, via pinfall or something."